So it's been a while since I came back to the series. This is going to be my review for Halloween 5 from 1989. It's also sometimes known as The Revenge of Michael Myers or Michael Myers' Revenge, but on IMDb it's just listed as Halloween 5. So, if you don't know, with this series, Halloween 3, they tried to do something a little bit different. They tried to get rid of Michael Myers and turn it into more of an anthology series. So each movie would have something to do with Halloween, but not necessarily Michael Myers. That didn't go over very well. So in 1988, they came back with Michael Myers. So Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. And this is a direct sequel to that movie. So in number 4, we started following Michael Myers' niece, Jamie, who was played by Danielle Harris in both movies, number 4 and this one. And so Jamie is Laurie Strode's daughter, originally played by Jamie Lee Curtis. And in the last movie, she's being hunted by Michael, and her stepsister Rachel is kind of protecting her. And at the end of that one, this will be kind of a little bit of a spoiler for number 4. At the end of 4, Jamie kind of goes through a violent episode, and we think she's going to become the next killer, the next Michael Myers potentially. And then we actually get a recap of that at the beginning of this movie, a recap at the very end of the movie. But then they kind of actually just gloss over that part where Jamie attacked her stepmom. And now Jamie's like a mute, and she's living in a house for troubled teens or troubled kids. She's still pretty young. And she has like some sort of like telepathic powers now. She's connected mentally with Michael. And we see Michael surviving the onslaught of attacks that he got at the end of number 4. And he floats down a river and gets taken care of by some homeless hermit guy for some reason. And he's getting taken care of for like a year. So for over a year from the last movie, it's a year later, Jamie's in this home, and then Michael decides to go on the attack again during Halloween. And that's where the movie kind of picks up. And again, we see Rachel is played by the same actress here, is trying to visit Jamie, and they're trying to, kind of get her over this not being able to talk. She's mute. And then Rachel gets kind of taken out pretty early by Michael. And then kind of awkwardly, we get left with one of Rachel's friends. Her name's Tina. And then she kind of becomes a bit of the main protagonist. It's kind of split between Tina and Jamie, although it's not as interesting with Jamie because she can't talk. But she started just having, these visions, and people keep worrying about, is somebody actually being attacked? Because her visions are actually true most of the time. But then Tina's like a really boring character to follow, and Jamie's not as interesting because she can't talk, and Michael is just kind of going around. I don't know, this movie is not good. I'll ruin the suspense there. This movie is just really incoherent. The plot's just all over the place. It doesn't really make any sense who we're following, why. Like I said, it kind of jumps back and forth between Jamie and Tina. Tina's not interesting. And then like Loomis is back, so Donald Pleasance is back as Loomis, and he is just weird in this and crazy. He's yelling all the time, super awkwardly, especially with Jamie. She's, really young, and he's just being so weird and annoying, and he's like completely lost it, which I guess you'd understand at this point, chasing Michael Myers for 3 movies. And he's going a little crazy, but I think he might have to get locked up too, because he's just a spaz in this. But yeah, it's pretty incoherent. I don't like, the plot doesn't really go anywhere. It's just really boring, and it gets really annoying. So then Jamie actually starts to be able to talk later, and they just yell. She's yelling for Tina constantly, and then Tina's yelling for Jamie constantly, and man, it just started getting egregious. Like half of the dialogue spoken was either being the names Tina or Jamie being yelled, and it was like just too much. It was pretty weird. And there's like a party that Tina decides to go to. She doesn't care about Jamie after being concerned for her for like 2 seconds. She goes to a party to hang out with her friends and get laid. And there's like these kids that are there, and they're dressed up as some more annoying teens dressed up as Michael Myers. And why would you ever dress up as Michael Myers in this world where a year earlier he killed like over 16 people or something? It's just so awkward, and nobody in the real world dresses up as like Ted Bundy or you know, some of these like real serial killers. Nobody really dresses up as them. It's just weird. Nothing really works. All of the kills are pretty sad, and a lot of them are off. I think some of them are off screen and just really tame. That's one of the things you want to see in a slasher movie is like some good, interesting kills. They're just not here at all. I think they probably had to cut some of it because of ratings issues, like usual. But even with that, they're pretty bad. The acting for the most part is not good. Over the top or just plain bad. The things that I thought were interesting and what I liked from the last film. So I didn't really like the last film either. I think I gave it like 2. But what I did like is Danielle Harris. I think she's really good as Jamie. She's, especially for being how young she is, she's a really good child actor. And she's actually good here too towards the end. So like I said, it's pretty boring at the beginning because she can't talk. And she's not really given much to work with. She's like kind of going into seizures, and she's having like these telepathic kind of fits, but she can't talk, and so she's pretty limited to what she can do. But then later, when she can talk, she actually does pretty good. And there's a scene, and a kind of extended scene where Michael is chasing her through the house, and it's actually pretty good. That's probably the best part of the movie, is when it's just Jamie without any of the other characters being there to ruin it. And then of course Loomis shows up and does ruin it. He just is a freaking weirdo in this movie. But I guess there's actually an even interesting part. I guess one of the most compelling parts of the movie is when she's being chased and she jumps in like a laundry chute and she's kind of going up and down it, which is pretty cool. I guess there was a scene that got cut where she actually, because Michael's like stabbing at it with a knife at one point, and apparently she was supposed to be stabbed in the leg, but they cut it out because they thought it'd be too little graphic to see a little girl get stabbed like that. Apparently, like the actress Danielle Harris kept the prosthetic leg, so that would have been interesting to see. So they should have just left her be the main character instead of all these other older teenagers, because they just kind of ruin the movie and make it boring. So yeah, it's not good. I'm pretty surprised. I know that this series hasn't been one of the most loved in the world, but it is continuously just lost more and more steam. So it's getting worse and worse as they go. The last movie was a 2, wasn't very good. This one, I didn't like either. I'm giving it a 1.75 out of 5. There's just nothing really to redeem it. There's also like, the ending is just so weird. They capture Michael Myers, take him to the jail. They let him keep his mask. He's in the jail cell with his mask on. Oh, and then they're supposed to demask him too, and they just like balk on that, and you don't see his face or anything. So that was a waste. And then they introduce a character, and every once in a while we see like his boots. He's wearing like some sort of like cowboy boots with like metal tipped, kind of like the twin brothers from Breaking Bad, and like a long coat. And we see him like a couple times, just very faintly, not full like shot of what his face is or anything. And I was like, okay, they're never gonna end up showing this guy like who he is. And sure enough, that goes nowhere. If they're maybe leaving it for a sequel or the next movie, I don't know if it turns into anything, but it's so disappointing, and the ending's so bad. I hated. I did not like this movie. I don't know if I could recommend it, even if you are. I mean, I guess if you're completing the series, you might as well watch it. But there's nothing here to like. Bad kills, bad plot, bad acting. They should just let Jamie be the main character the whole time being chased. And then also the other thing, the big thing is this is like a pretty big ripoff of what they're doing here. And the Michael Myers Halloween series is a pretty bad ripoff of the Friday the 13th series. So they did the exact same thing with Friday the 13th, the final chapter and the new beginning, or basically the same thing that they did with Tommy Jarvis in that series is what they're doing here with Jamie. They introduce this new character that's going to be like the new killer, and then in the following movie they don't do anything with it. They don't follow up on it. So, I mean, it didn't really work there either in the Friday the 13th movie, but I mean, they did it 4 years before, and here they can't even turn it into anything interesting in the Halloween series. So, pretty sad. I think some of the later Halloween movies might get a little bit better. I've seen some of the the ones from the 2000s. But I think the next one has Paul Rudd in it, and I heard it's really bad, but I just gotta get through the series. We'll see. I'm getting pretty disappointed in them. So again, this one's pretty bad. 1.75 out of 5. So I think that'll be it. All right.